the whole reason we came up with this is because I was sulking. I've said for the past couple episodes how disappointed I was. The NHL is not going to the Olympics. I was really looking forward to it. And I just all of a sudden decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm somehow going to have NHL Olympic hockey no matter what. So what we've done is I reached out to you guys. Thanks for agreeing to do this. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do. I had everyone submit me who they thought would be on Team Canada or who should be on Team Canada. And I've compiled those numbers. We're going to have some debates as to some open spots that we weren't quite in agreement on. And then we're going to have our official Team Canada. And this is the Team Canada. And then what we're going to do next week is we'll sim it on NHL 22 and see how they do. So first off, obviously, there's the 3 players that were already announced for Team Canada. So we'll just get those through right now.
Who are they?
Obviously, McDavid, Crosby, and Pietrangelo. They're in there.
Third line center, hey? Wow.
All right. Just 1 second here. So,
oh my God, we're off to a bad start. Third line center.
What did he do to deserve that?
Pilon, did Matthews get his Canadian citizenship?
I didn't realize that Crosby single-handedly beat the Leafs in a playoff round, and you've demoted him for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have the line set up because most of us, minus Sanjay, submitted our suggested lines. And so there was actually some similarities in that as well. So I wasn't the only one who had Crosby as my third line center. I think Baron, you did too. So that's why
I can't even remember actually. I gotta double check this.
So we had
I did have him as third line center.
Yeah, and so did I. So that's why he's there. So we had 6 other players that made it to all of our rosters, or 6 other forwards. We'll do forwards first. So 6 other forwards that made it on all of our rosters. Jonathan Huberdeau, Mark Stone, Nathan McKinnon, Braden
Stone
Point,
on the top line,
Brad Marchand, and Patrice Bergeron. Actually, you know what? The Athletic just did a article similar to this where they said, okay, well, here's who we had, and they had Stone on the top line beside McDavid as well. Actually, their lineups were very close to what we have. So, we should all be hired by the Athletic. Okay. Next, we had 3 players who received 3 votes each. So they made it to almost all the teams. Steven Stamkos, John Tavares, and Ryan O'Reilly. So there's our starters. Our starting lineup is already done. We were pretty much in agreement on all of these guys. So
I think I had him as an extra.
So the extras are kind of where we got into more of a debate. We do have the 13th forward already named. He was on half the team. So you got 2 votes. Mangiapane.
Yay. Yep. I'm going to put him on the back of this jersey now. It's legit.
So
you're wearing a jersey? I thought you were wearing a... Oh, you are wearing a jersey.
Yeah, he's wearing the Canada.
I thought you were just wearing a robe.
It's very official. Remember the
All
Storm
right.
Cutter.
So that leaves 1 spot. So the only debate we have for the forwards is who's going to be our 14th forward. Okay. All right. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to give each of you a chance to make your points as to why the player you had on your roster who's not on this roster should be on the team. All right. So let me see who I'm going to start with here. All right, Sanjay, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Explain to us why you had Matt Duchene on your Team Canada and why we should have him on ours.
Absolutely. Judging by those laughters, I got to convince more than a few people.
Please make our teams play each other so that my team can just pummel Sanjay's team as the computer puts Duchene as the top line center and they just get caved in.
The quality forward having a bounce back season. He plays in Nashville, and the phrase Tennessee tough isn't just a phrase, it's a way of life. So he plays hockey the right way. He plays forward, he plays defense, and he's having a really good season. Also, he won an Olympic gold medal in Sochi. So he's been there. He's done that. He knows what it takes to win gold. And he's going to be the 14th, 15th forward. So he probably won't see any ice time. But if he does, he's not going to hurt you. If you're counting on Matt Duchene to put up goals with all this talent and offense, something's gone horribly wrong. Also, he's won Olympic championship, or he's won, Olympic gold. He's won the World Cup. So he was on Team Canada that won gold there, and he won World Championship and Olympic gold. And he's won everything. So this guy's a winner. I think he definitely deserves to be on there. And 100%. Bring him on.
I'll sell
Nice
you my
job,
Matt
Sanjay.
Duchene
That was
signed puck.
a
I'll
good
sell it
sell.
to
You.
That was-
I
you did
know
well.
you'll buy it.
All
Very
right. So
nice.
the good job, Sanjay. I like the points you made.
Gross.
Next up is Adam. You had Ryan Getzlaf on your team. So why do you think he should make the final cut?
Unfortunately,
Oh,
Ryan Getzlaf
shit.
can't make the camp. He can't make it. He called it in. I took the call and I said, you know what? You're replaceable. And here's who I'm going to replace you with. It's Nazem Kadri, 5th in the NHL in scoring. He's a good Canadian boy. He's got 12 goals, 32 assists this year. He's plus 11, only 34 penalty minutes with 88 shots on goal. The man's a horse. He's producing at over a point a game this year. And if you need a timely hit with a good player knocked out for the rest of the tournament, he's your man. He's expendable. Bring Nazem in. He's going to crush it. Having a hell of a year. And you know what? He makes his teams competitive. He makes them great. He pushes them with that edge that they need.
Until he gets suspended and knocked out.
Well,
of the
you know
tournament.
what? And then we've got Mangiapane.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Well, that was a curveball.
Yeah.
Throw my way. You told me you were going to have a curveball, so there you go.
That was a good
Gave up
curveball,
on
though.
Getzlaf. All right. Baron, you actually had 2 players that haven't been listed here, so I'm going to let you decide which one of those 2 you want to make a pitch for.
So part of mine had to do with the fact that my fourth line was set up a little bit different than your fourth line. My fourth line consisted of Reilly as the center on that one and Couturier with Stone as a shutdown line, essentially. And in this case, Couturier didn't make the team and Mangiapane made the team. And my 13th forward option was Matt Barzell. I thought of this a little bit different than how you guys approached it, but I actually thought which one's more likely to be on it. And my actual feelings are towards it is that Matt Barzell seems more likely to be on it based on the fact that, one, his coach, who works with him a ton, is part of the coaching group, or originally was supposed to be part of the coaching group. But I also think Matt Barzell is a guy you can plug into a lot of different areas on this team. If you look at it defensively, there's lots of different guys that can be moved around for defensive play, whether that's Bergeron, O'Reilly, Tavares, Marchand. All these guys have different experience, Stone, and in different spots. Whereas pure goal scoring sometimes becomes a little bit tougher to kind of work around. So I figure Matt Barzell actually makes the most sense in this because O'Reilly's better than Couturier when it comes to shutdown, and Barzell gives you a lot of dynamic offense and speed and play. And I think the guy could just really wheel with some of these other guys around him. So that would be my pitch for Matt Barzell.
Perfect. Thanks there, Baron. All right. So last player, I'm going
Good
to pitch.
job, Sanjay. Good job, Adam. Thanks, Baron.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baron. That
Been
was
there, done
well
that.
done. Very, very good.
Sanjay, I'll sell you that Matt Duchene signed Team Canada puck because I know you love him so much.
I'll give you this pen for it.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I'll just tell your brother to
stock
steal
for
one of your
Duchene has
jerseys.
really gone down. If you're not going to go for that jersey there, Sanjay, I don't believe you anymore.
I know.
Puck signed.
All right. So
puck.
I'm going to pitch David Perron. And the reason I'm going to pitch David Perron is this. He's really blossomed into his 30s. He didn't really start out as an all-star, but he actually made the all-star team a couple years ago. And he's just aged like a fine wine. He's playing his best hockey of his life right now. Actually, in the last 2 seasons, he has 78 points in 81 games, so almost a point per game pace. 25th best in the league, actually. And that's a better pace than all the guys that you suggested. So, I mean, if you're looking for point production, you can't really argue that he's the best option for that spot. Second, I'd say he's a proven winner, and you want proven winners on the team. He played a major part in the St. Louis Blues winning the Stanley Cup. And the year prior to that, he played a major part for the Vegas Golden Knights making it to the Stanley Cup. So he's a proven winner. Championship pedigree is huge when you're building a winner, and he definitely has it. And then lastly, I find with tournaments like this, it's really nice if you already have pre-established chemistry on the team. The team doesn't really have a lot of time to gel. So if you can have guys who already have proven chemistry together, that's great. And he already has that with O'Reilly. They play on the same line together for St. Louis. And, so if someone got injured, you could easily slot him in beside O'Reilly and they'll have instant chemistry. And that would be huge for Team Canada as well. And so that is why I believe David Perron should be named. So there you go.
I feel like Nazem Kadri and Nathan McKinnon have a good chemistry.
They don't.
Too.
Well, they don't play on the same line.
Shut up
at
and
all.
let me talk. They like a good sip of scotch after each game, and a cigarello as well on the drive.
You already
home.
had your turn. All right. So what you're doing is you're going to write down the name of the guy who you think should get the 14th spot. You cannot write down the name for the guy that you just made a pitch for.
Oh, well,
There has to be one of the other three.
Okay. How do you spell Duchene? I'm just kidding.
All right.
Okay. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hold them up. I got Kadri, Perron, and Perron.
Oh,
Wow. Okay, so the tiebreaker is who is the highest in NHL 22. Now, because you threw a curveball at me, Adam, I don't have Kadri's NHL 22 rating. Could someone look
Not
it
a
up
good
real quick?
host. Not a good
you
host.
should have had everyone's ready.
He didn't have Kadri. It's supposed to be
Okay,
Getzlaf he was arguing for.
I'm so glad I don't have to edit this episode.
It's an 85.
He's
85.
85.
Yeah.
All right. So then the winner is David Perron with 86. So
Wow.
Perron is our 14th forward.
Good for him.
So there we go. So we got our forwards. Moving on to defense. So we had 3 D-men we all agreed on. Aaron Ekblad, Cale Makar, and Shea Theodore.
And Pietrangelo.
And then Dougie Hamilton received 3 votes, so he's also in. So
Damn.
that leaves 3 players that were going to be open for debate. Now, it turns out there were 3 players who actually received 2 votes each. So all 3 will be making our team. So what we're going to be trying to decide is who
Last
makes
spot.
the starter. Yeah, who's going to be the starting top 6, and then which 2 are going to be the extras. And it turns out those 3 players were not on my team Canada. So what's going to be happening is you 3 are going to be trying to convince me for my vote.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start with Adam. And Adam, you are going to try to convince me why Morgan Reilly should be in that spot, other
He's
than
gonna pick
obviously him
him.
playing for
Yeah.
the best team on the planet.
The
So
Leafs. Oh, the
go
Leafs fan gets to
ahead
pick.
and
Okay,
really
great.
try to convince me for Morgan Reilly.
Number 1, played for the Moose Jaw Warriors in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. He's a real team player, loves to rag the puck, as they say. And sorry, I'm trying to get to Pierre Maguire here. He knows how to run a power play really well. I know that a lot of these guys do, and you've got probably your power play starter with Cale Makar, but Morgan Reilly has been solid this year. He's got 33 games played. He's got 28 points, 4 goals, 24 assists. Like, there's not a lack of obviously shooting on net because he's creating and generating opportunities for the puck to be tipped in. And he's a leader. He knows how to, be a voice on the bench and in the locker room. We saw that in the Amazon series All or Nothing, where the Leafs got nothing.
And what would you say to someone who says he's good offensively, but not a good enough defensive defenseman?
Say that's correct.
I would say, yeah, that's a very good assessment. And, what you're willing to give up in the defensive zone, he will make up in the offensive zone, at least once a game. And he's going to generate chances. But, that's the nature of the defensive position and having an offensive defenseman in your lineup.
Perfect. Thanks, Adam. All right, Baron, Darnell Nurse.
Okay. My pitch for Darnell Nurse covers a couple of different things here. First, he's actually legitimately a left defenseman, which is the spot that needs to be filled in on this team. Number 2, you look at this roster right now, certain things are already filled out. You have a ton of guys who, as Adam pointed out, are power play guys. Dougie Hamilton, Cale Makar, Ekblad, Pietrangelo, all guys who make heavy time on that power play. But what isn't necessarily seen here is someone who can play in all ends of this. Darnell Nurse is a guy who can play on your power play if you need him. And on this team, he ain't going to touch the power play, but he is a PK guy as well. He logs tons of minutes. Usually he leads the Edmonton Oilers in ice time for the amount of time he plays. He plays sometimes up to 30 minutes a night. There's a guy you can have who will play your PK, who can play in defensive situations. He's also one of the best puck transitioners and skating the puck out of the zone. Most of these guys are straight up passers, but he's a guy who can carry the puck into the zone. And that's another element that you have not seen with this group. So I think he fills a bunch of the voids that the other ones don't. He's complementary to them. He's used to playing with high-end talent. He is legitimately a freak when it comes to like working out. Like we were all talking about Rod the Bod. Darnell Nurse is that guy. He is in tremendous shape. He can play, like he came out of COVID and was like, yeah, no, I'm good for another 20 minutes. And he plays full shifts. So I think he's a guy who fills just different needs that need to be on this roster for complementary reasons. He's your PK guy. He can play tough minutes. He can log long time. If someone's injured, he's up there. He can fill in spots he's never going to get a chance to. And he's used to playing with that elite superstar talent. So I think for all those reasons, Darnell Nurse is someone that should be considered for Team Canada.
Now, one complaint I've heard about Darnell Nurse, at least online, is kind of similar to Morgan Reilly. A lot of people say he's offensive only. What do you think about that?
I would say if you look at his numbers this year, you wouldn't think of him as an offensive defenseman. So he signed the big contract moving in, but he's not produced the goals this year that he did last year. Last year, he was scoring all the time. He hasn't done that so far. So I'm not saying it's necessarily like a change in his game, because I don't think it's that. I think he's slumping a little bit when it comes to shooting the pill, as all the Oilers are, or been a bit unlucky. But if you look at this team, that's not necessarily where he's going to be needed. He's going to be needed to battle hard. And I think that's where he'll roll in.
Perfect. Thanks, Baron. And then Sanjay, last but not least, the veteran Drew Dowdy. What do you have to say about him?
Well,
more like Pooh Dowdy.
Sorry, I could not hear you. I had my one Stanley Cup ring. Actually, no, he has more than one.
Yes, two.
Two Stanley Cup rings. Plugging my ear. Yeah. So Drew Dowdy, those defensemen you mentioned, he's the only one that's won a Stanley Cup. That's a big selling point. 2, he hates Matthew Tkachuk, and he plays his best games against Matthew Tkachuk. Now, Team USA is going to be a big rival for Team Canada. You want someone that legitimately hates Matthew Tkachuk, who's going to be a big star for Team USA. So you put Drew Dowdy. He always plays his best against the Flames. He's going to be giving it 100%. He's going to dial back the clock, because he always seems to do that against us. Everyone else in the league, but against us, he gives us 110%. So he'll be doing that in the gold medal game against the Americans. That's why you take Drew Dowdy.
Now, what about him being right-handed?
He can switch. He's ambidextrous. Yeah.
All right. All excellent points. Now I get the final decision.
Oh,
do I go with my heart on this one? You know who I'm actually going to go with? I'm going to go with Darnell Nurse.
Yes,
I'm
that's
going to take Darnell Nurse.
Mispronounced Dowdy.
I have
Dowdy.
I like Dowdy. I think he's had a good year. I just think you want him on the right side if he's playing, and I don't think he's as good as he used to be. And Morgan Reilly, if he's not going to play, if Morgan Reilly's not going to play on the power play, I just don't know why you have him on the team. I love Morgan Reilly, and he's actually had a really good season.
Yes, he has
better defensively than he has been in a long time, but he still coughs up the puck a ton. Whereas Darnell Nurse, I think is just a little more defensively sound. So I'll go with Darnell Nurse. I think Baron, you also made some very good points about him carrying the puck out of the zone. That was really awesome. I like that. So there you go. So Darnell Nurse is in the top 6. Morgan Reilly and Drew Dowdy are our extras. All right. Last but not least, goaltending. So we all had Marc-Andre Fleury as our starter. Ooh. So that leaves question marks for backup and extra. Now, I was going to have us all go through a debate, but it is getting long. So maybe I should just say who the 3 goaltenders are, and maybe we can just have a quick discussion, decide. You want to do that instead? Save some time. All right. So the 3 goaltenders who each received 2 was Jordan Binnington, Tristan Jarry, and Carter Hart.
I'm going to say Carter Hart. He's going to be the backup, and you got to look to the future. Marc-Andre Fleury, this is his last international tournament. This might be his last year in the NHL. So Carter Hart, you got to give him that experience. It's kind of like Brodeur in 98, being alongside Patrick Waugh, or Luongo alongside Brodeur in World Cup in 04, and then he won the gold in 2010. So that's my reasoning for Hart.
Well, and Carter Hart is having a fantastic season. He had a terrible season last season. This year, he's doing really, really well.
His team isn't.
No, his team isn't, but his goals saved above expected are tops him on the league. No, not tops, but he's up there. The one thing, like I would have had Tristan Jarry, and this is one thing I'm curious what you guys think. So I kind of mentioned that online, and there were numerous people that told me Tristan Jarry wasn't on the lawn list for the Olympics, so he wouldn't actually be able to make Team Canada anyways. Now, like, I mean, that wasn't confirmed, but I heard from enough people saying that I'm thinking maybe it's true. I don't know how legit we want to be, but I mean, if we want to make it simple and say, okay, he wasn't on the lawn list, he can't play, then we're down to Binnington and Hart for backup.
Well, I think Binnington's an automatic. Like the GM is the St. Louis GM. He's having a good season. He's arguably right now one of the best Canadian goaltenders out there, whether you like him or not. And I don't particularly do. You can't ignore the fact that he has definitely played his way onto this team. So I think Binnington's a lock. Tristan Jarry, if we just throw the scenario out, he has had a bounce back season as well. Mm-hmm. But his team's winning. And I do think that carrying winning into a season is a little more into something like this is a little more helpful. As Sanjay pointed out with Matt Duchene, Matt Duchene's a winner. Well, then I honestly, like, as much as I like Carter Hart's probably going to have another Olympics down the road. Same with Tristan Jarry, but I feel like Jarry's kind of done a little bit more here to kind of step in front of that and earn that. So that's why I think
I had Jarry.
That's my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even last year, Baron, when you look at his regular season stats, they were actually really good. Like he had a really bad start to the season and then he turned it on last season and then had a bad playoffs. But his numbers for the past 2 years are better than Binnington's and Hart's. Combined 2 years. So he's had a bit more consistency there. But like I said, if he's not on the list, like if he's not even eligible, that's the question. Like, do we care about that or not?
I don't think we do. It's all hypothetical anyways. None of these guys are going to suit up together.
Adam, you haven't said anything. Who are you thinking?
This guy's just reading his phone.
Mike Smith.
Every team needs a competitive spaz. And, Binnington's that guy. You need someone who's going to, flip a switch and try to take someone's head off with a goalie stick. He's a proven winner. He's won the cup. I think he'd be a great backup to Fleury. And I think Fleury's personality would, complement Binnington's non-personality.
Okay, well, it sounds like Binnington's basically gotten half the votes for that backup spot.
Yeah.
Are we good with going Binnington there? And then we can debate either Hart or Jarry for that third spot.
Yeah, I mean, the third spot won't see any ice time. So who?
All right, well, why don't we just write down either Hart or Jarry? And then
for the last spot?
For that last spot. And we'll go Binnington backup because it just seemed like there was enough talk about Binnington there.
Yeah. That works for me.
All right. 1 on 3, 2, 1. Hart, Jarry, Sanjay. What the hell, man? It's time's up.
Pardon me.
I didn't even read that.
Yeah, what is it? Hart? Okay. Hart. So there we go.
Whatever. My defenseman made it.
Bret Hart should be the third goalie.
All right. So Fleury, then Binnington, and Hart. So there you go. There's our team. What do you guys think?
Gold medal.
Pretty good.
I like my third line better. I think Stone should be on the fourth line. Point should be up there with McDavid. Marner should be on the second line. Third line's what I had.
I'll say the one guy missing that I had on my defense, I'm disappointed no one else had, was Devon Toews. I think Devon Toews should have gotten some more love. He is.
Why are you saying it like it's one word?
It's Devon Toews.
Devon Toews, not Devon Toews.
It's not Devon Toews. It's Devon Toews.
Or why not saying it Devon and then Toews? You're saying Devon Toews.
Sounds nice.
It sounds like you're saying that. Hey kids, that's Devon Toews.
But he's had an amazing season. Last night, when they were playing the Leafs, the announcers were saying he's leading the league for defenseman plus minus, and they said points per game. I didn't look.
And he only cost 2 second-round picks, which is like legitimately a rob. Like what a great grab.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, like insane. And then you would have had that chemistry with McCarr. Like that's. I'm disappointed Toews is on the team. I'll just say that. But otherwise, I think this team's pretty damn solid. So.
He's not on the long list, so I wouldn't have made the team anyways.
All right. So then what we'll do, Adam and I, we're going to plug in these players, and then we're going to plug in the rest of the rosters according to the Athletics predictions. And then we'll do a sim next week and see who wins the gold medal. And that will be the official Olympics, not the actual Olympics coming up. Our Olympics will be the real one.
Be careful. You don't want to get, sued by the IOC.
Yeah,